Good morning, folks. My name is Azam Basha. So I have around 14 years of experience in ID networking, and I have 12 plus certifications in Cisco, Juniper, AWS. I am a AI enthusiast, so I'm certified with Cisco ACI, and I have almost 5 years of experience on hardcore Cisco ACI. So do let me know if you see the screen.
Yes, we can.
So this is just a demo class for you folks, for you to understand the way I teach and how comfortable I am with you folks and your understanding. So I will not be doing any practical today. The reason is because I want you to get familiar with the basics of Cisco ACI, and tomorrow we can start up with the lab and theory. So my pattern of teaching is mixing up the theory and lab. So I believe in basic understanding and elaborated understanding rather than keeping things complicated. So let's first start with understanding the traditional networks shortcomings. Uh, am I audible to you guys? So I am actually unwell today, so my voice might be sounding unfamiliar. So, but is that okay for you all, folks? I'm understandable.
Yes,
Okay.
it's clear.
Great. So So we are all network engineers. I assume your experience starts somewhere from 3 to 7 years or more than that. So we all have come from the background of traditional networking. So we all know how to do show IP route. We all know how to upgrade a switch or a router. So that is what our background have been. So, but there are some shortcomings with this traditional network. When I say shortcomings, now networking evolves all the time. Now it's the age of AI, right? AI and machine learning, and the same is affected with IT networking. Now we have AI agents that can actually do everything. So we are no more required. A AI agent would configure, troubleshoot, uh, and manage the day-to-day activities by its own. Just a AI agent can do all of that stuff. So in this day and age, so it is very important that we are up to speed with the technology. And the best way to start up with is Cisco ACI, because Cisco ACI is an all-in-one solution. When I say all-in-one solution, you will get to know what are the advantages of it and why would you need it. So the shortcomings of traditional networking that we currently have, or most of us are now shifting from actually, is the number of managed endpoints. Now here, with the managed endpoints, we have to actually do everything manually. In traditional networking, so we do have monitoring tools, right? So why do we have monitoring tools? We have monitoring tools to make our life easy with the traditional networking. So how many people are familiar with Spectrum, NetFlow, IPAM? Anyone familiar with these three tools or any other tools? Like, which networking tools do you all like work on? Anyone can answer. Do you folks work on any networking tools in your in a day-to-day job?
Sir, for monitoring, we are using SolarWinds.
Okay, that is one of it. Great. Anything else?
Manage engine also will copy manager and all.
Okay. Who else?
We are using a unit as a monitoring tools.
Okay. Great. Anyone else? Okay. The reason why we are using all these monitoring tools is to make our life easy with the traditional networks, because traditional networks does not come with any predefined feature. So this monitoring tool is an addition to our traditional network to make our life easy, to make our life easy with the endpoints, to make our life easy with correlating the information between the devices. So what is correlating information between devices? So I am sure you will all have troubleshooted the networks one or the other day. So when you're troubleshooting, you have to swap between your network devices. You have to swap between your windows, right? Switch 1, router 1, router 2. Keep on swapping, analyze the information, keep on checking the pings, keep on checking the routes, keep on checking the logs, and then swap between the monitoring tools and see whether the devices, what has gone through in the past. So you have to juggle between all of these windows. And then the level of expertise. When I say level of expertise, how many people here have worked on Juniper routers and switches? I know most of us come from Cisco background, because that is a very, what do you say, that's the dominant vendor, and also the certifications are very much popular. But Juniper is the second best company in the networking. How many of you have worked on it? Switches, routers, or SRX security devices? Anyone here from Juniper? No? Okay. So that explains the level of expertise. That means that in our network, in the production network, even if one router or switch from Juniper comes in, our hands become cold. That means that we have to go back to Google and search what is the equivalent of show run pipe include. Why do we use show run pipe include? To know the specific config of the device, right? But there is no show run pipe include in Juniper. This show configuration pipe match, pipe display set, if you want to display the set commands of it. It's a completely different architecture. And human errors. I'll tell you a small story of human error. Before that, I want to understand from you folks. Has anyone had any escalation P1 or P2? When I say P1 or P2, priority 1 or priority 2, did anyone escalate to your manager stating that you have made a configuration error or you have brought down the network? Anyone in the class? I would raise my hand. I'm one of them. So is anyone else there apart from me who has brought down the network?
No,
Okay. Parmar is the perfect network engineer, I guess. Rupesh also.
no, we have no any we have no any more rights to the changes without any permission. So that's why we are. I'm saying no.
So when you make the great, I guess Rajesh has brought down the network. Is that correct, Rajesh?
Yeah, many times.
So just to answer Parmar, so yes, we cannot make changes without the change window, right? Without a change ticket. But what happens
Yes,
when we are
yes, yes.
copy pasting the change? So the change will be either on a Sunday. I'm sure everyone will relate to this. Either you will have a change on a Sunday or early morning IST time on a Wednesday. Correct?
Yes, yes,
Early
correct.
morning on Wednesday and early morning on Sunday. How would you be feeling on Sunday? Okay, Wednesday, let's say that we are very, very good network engineers, right? So we are there, like Krishna, like this Infosys person, right? 70 hour of work, 90 hour work. We are the guys who are doing that, right? So we are so good that we are doing it. What happens on Sunday? Sunday morning, you go copy paste from your change. Even if there is one error, what happens with Cisco is it will take up or error out. But what happens with Juniper, they'll
He's telling about confirm and rollback on given time.
yes, there is a rollback in a given time. Correct. For that, you have to even understand that you've broken that network, right?
But Cisco having also the option na given time to reboot the router.
Yeah. So we also have a rollback function in Cisco in ASRs, which
Yes,
is iOS XR.
yes.
Okay.
No, but in age point also have a option.
Correct. The edge point, when you say the edge point, you mean the CE, right? Customer
Yes,
edge.
yes, yes, sir,
So
yes.
customer edge usually has a ASR router or any
Okay.
router which is iOS XR.
Yes.
Now in iOS XE, which is our 4000 series devices, there is no rollback in it.
Yeah.
There is no feature of rollback in iOS XE. Okay, now these are the routers that are there from few years, and people don't change their routers just like that. Okay, the point of contention here is the story that I wanted to tell you folks is I copy pasted everything. Okay, it did not error out. The reason it did not error out is because the command was correct, but it was incomplete. Okay, in this, if the command is incomplete, it will take up. For example, on Cisco, try it out. So if you want to just copy, like for example, you do VLAN 10, right? After that, you do question mark and just type in the same command. Okay, it will take it up. Though it will not, though the network would not work, though the end-to-end connectivity would not work, but still it will take up. Okay, so in that situation, I just copy pasted. It was a humor error from my side. I did a commit. It was 1 p.m. in the afternoon of Sunday, and I rushed from my home to office. Okay, it was long time ago, around 10, 12 years ago. So I had to wash my clothes on a Sunday. I was a single guy. So I was very frustrated that I have to go to the office to make the changes. I went there, copy pasted, and then went for lunch. And when I came back from lunch, I had a very lengthy email from my manager with the escalation stating that I brought down the network completely. So in 30 minutes, just in span of 30 minutes, there was a very big escalation, and I was threatened that I might lose the job. So that's the situation, and there was a huge issue. Though it was a Sunday night, it was a banking network. So everyone looks for 100% uptime nowadays, right? So this humor error is very costly for the organization, and definitely it is costly for us, because if we make any error, then it comes back to us, right? The knife comes back to us, and it is very much on high risk in the traditional networks. And then the difference in protocol implementation. I have a question for you folks. EIGRP. Can EIGRP run on a Nokia or a
No, this is
Sienna or a Juniper or a Fujitsu router or
no.
a switch? Okay, great. Uh,
No, no.
can I know the name of the person who said that?
Rupesh,
Rupesh. Why is that, Rupesh?
Cisco proprietary. It is
Okay, what do you mean by Cisco proprietary?
like
It's
it will
not
be
open
running
standard.
only on the. Yeah, it is not open standard.
Okay, so that's a big disadvantage, right, Rupesh?
Yeah.
So the reason why I say that it is a big disadvantage is in CCIE enterprise infrastructure, which my dear friend Rinish, I guess he's on the call as well, who is the trainer for it. So there's EIGRP in it, and we are becoming expert and learning EIGRP, and we are not using this EIGRP anywhere else apart from Cisco. So these were the days wherein Cisco was trying to be the Apple of networking. How many folks have Apple mobile with you? Anyone here with Apple mobile?
Yes.
Okay, one. Anyone else? Okay. So Apple tries to actually change the names. Apple tries to keep the features unique. The word unique is no more relevant in networking nowadays. If you are going to unique, you will be outdated. But unfortunately, the vendors did not realize this. Juniper could have had the same type of command line as Cisco, but Juniper chose not to because it wanted to place itself in the market. Now, what has happened with Juniper is people have stopped using it as and have gone for open source. So, have anyone heard about open source OS in Cisco? I mean, in networking routers and switches? Has anyone worked on it? Or at least do you know that there's an open source OS for routers? Has anyone Googled this?
Right? Yeah, every router is coming with the kernel based router, which is open source, huh?
No, see, there is a V. VOS.
Okay.
This VYOS. If you see here, I'm googling in front of you folks so that you're up to speed. So this VOS has been from a long time, at least from 3-4 years for now. So this OS comes for free, absolutely free. iOS XE, iOS XR need licensing, right?
Yes.
Juniper needs licensing. ACI needs
Yes.
licensing. SD WAN needs licensing. Everything needs licensing, but this one does not need one. Absolutely free. So people have moved to open source, and that is why OSPF is being asked in your interviews all the time. OSPF and BGP is your 20 minutes of your interview out of 1 hour. Because right now routing is OSPF and BGP. That is it. If you go to the service provider side, then you might get couple of questions on ISIS.
Yes.
No EIGRP at all. EIGRP is outdated from the market. So these are some shortcomings or downfalls of a traditional network. And and to be specific in terms of technology and protocols, these are some of the downfalls. When it comes to STP, by default, STP is running on all L2 and L3 switches. Does anyone disagree on this? STP works by default on all L2 and L3 switches. It comes out of the box. Correct? Yes, no, folks?
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
With that, the blocking thing comes in. Okay? So this is by default there. STP by default is there in all our traditional networking. To eliminate STP, blocked links and maximize bandwidth between tiers, access and aggregation switches are typically paired into VPC domains, but each VPC can be formed using a maximum of 2 switches. So we always try to evolve, right? So in the traditional network, we brought in Nexus. I'm sure everyone knows Nexus. Nexus runs NXOS, and VPC is supported only on Nexus. VPC is not supported on a 9000 series switch, which is the latest one from Cisco. VPC is only supported on your NXOS. So we tried to fix issues with traditional networking, but still we were not able to fix it. One of the issues is STP. The other issue is traffic growth. So to understand traffic growth, we have to understand north-south traffic and east and westbound traffic. Now, these are the terms that you have to remember. These terms keep on coming in a SDN network, whether it is Cisco ACI or SD-WAN or SD access. Northbound, north-south traffic and east-west traffic. So this is north, south, east, west. Okay, this is the direction, correct? Currently, I'm in the south part of India. I'm in Bangalore. Is anyone from North India here? I guess Parmar, right? Anyone else?
West region, West region.
Oh, great. And where does Michigan come in? Like, where can I segregate you? East or west in terms of India?
Uh, there's a, in West, Middle, East, East. Okay, sorry, East.
East. Okay. Parmar is from east. See, just use the same analogy. The reason why I asked this to Parmar, now Parmar I could categorize Parmar as east based on the traffic flow. So using the same part here, the southbound traffic is always related to the endpoints. The northbound traffic is always related to the core. The east and westbound traffic relates to the switches that are between. If it is a two-tier architecture, and in this two-tier architecture, in a traditional architecture, you will be seeing a L2 switches usually, or even L3 switches with like 3850s, right? 3850s, and then slowly now there are new series also coming in, like 4000 series coming in, right? So the mid-level switches you see in the traditional networking. So when you say north and south, that means that the increase in the core switches and increase in the endpoints. East-west traffic, the increase in your L2, L3 switches. When you increase your endpoints, you have to eventually increase your L2, L3 switches also. So when there is an increase in traffic, the complications will start coming in. What kind of complications? VLAN limitation. Folks, you have to remember the east-west traffic always, okay? And north-south bound traffic. Bound. Okay? East-west traffic, north-south, east-west bound traffic, and north-south bound traffic. So this is a terminology that you have to remember, which which is used just like a normal nomenclature nowadays. Yeah. So you will find the limitation with VLANs. So what are the limitations with VLANs? The limitations with VLANs are we can have a maximum of 4094 VLANs only. You would ask me, okay, 4094 is a very big number. It's a very big number. Do you even think that there'll be so many VLANs possible? Yes, it's a very good question, but I would say that this is a limitation. Why I would say a limitation? How many people know IPv4 is extant? How many of you know that? We have 14 participants here. Does anyone know that IPv4 is no longer sold? Public IP. Does anyone know here? Yes, no, folks?
No, sir.
Okay.
From very long time, right?
Yes, it's been few years now. It's not a very long time. It's just been few years.
Is it in
Okay.
a specific country or a region or
No, it
everywhere?
is completely, yes, it is completely
Um,
run out of
I mean,
IP spaces.
okay. I mean, the company that I'm working on actually in a process of buying the public IPs. They
Uh-huh.
were completed.
Yes. So you're in the process of buying the IP. So when was the last time you
They
bought
are
the IP?
completed. Um, it started over a month ago, and we were able to acquire some of the IPs.
The IPv4?
Yes,
Okay. So there might be
I mean,
some usable
exceptions were there.
IPs. No, no, usable IPs. When I say usable IPs, like see, you have to pay for an IP. So now this is basics. So now that the topic has come in and you people don't know, I just want to elaborate or give few minutes for this, okay? There's a company called Ayana. Has anyone heard about this company, Ayana?
Yes. IP allocation for the global side.
Correct. So this company controls the IP addresses. When I say controls, it is into the business of selling the IP addresses. Okay. So this company has run out of IPv4. It is no longer able to allocate any IP addresses in the internet, which means that now in internet, a public IP, what is internet? Internet is a network of networks. When I say network of networks, there should be no duplication. If there is a duplicate IP, you will not be able to communicate. So who takes care of all of that? IANA. It sells and makes sure that no one else has the authority over the IP addresses so that internet works. So they came up with a statement. Almost, I guess it's been a year and a half, I assume, that they are no longer selling IPv4. So one of a friend who said that he acquired IPv4 address, it would be a usable IP, a used IP. Someone might have purchased it and then they would have not renewed it. You need to renew for an IP address. It's a public IP address. You have to keep on paying IANA. Just like how you are paying for your network, right? If you want to watch your Champions Trophy, you have to pay to Geo, right? For the subscription. So you have to use the same subscription for IANA to pay. So that particular IP would have been re-given again. So coming back to our topic, 4094 is a limitation. We never thought IPv4 would go out. We never thought it will be extinct, but it is now. So everyone is using IPv6 in the internet. What they're doing? Any guesses, folks? We still use IPv4 in our data centers, networks, everywhere. But everyone is using IPv6 at the edge. Any guess what they are doing? Any guess? Anyone from the WAN side?
Sir, dual
They
stack is there. IPv4 and both IPv6.
Dual stack. Did you say dual stack?
Yes.
Okay.
maybe IPv2, IPv4, the tunnel configurations for the conversation.
Okay. How would that convert? Like, just curious, Parmar. You would need NAT.
Yes. Net.
Simple netting. Everyone is using netting at the edge nowadays. Why? They've run out of IPv6, IPv4. If they are coming with a new site, they will get IPv6. But all of the public IP that they have are of IPv4. Okay. So moving on, network agility. So this is also one of the issues. What is network agility? Making changes faster, like I did 12 years ago. I copy pasted fast and brought down the network. Right? So if we are fast, we are tend to make errors. And then the security. Now in traditional networks, for everything, we need to have a component, a hardware component. We have router for routing, we have switches for switching, and then we came up with L3 switches that will do the routing and switching. But for firewalls, we did not come up with routing, switching, and firewall, right? Yes, we do have routing and switching in firewall, but the primary function of that firewall is dropping the packets, correct? So if you need to have a security component in your network, you need to add a firewall. Yes, no, folks?
Yes.
Yes.
You need to add a hardware and you have to create a zones, right? Like your internal zone, outside zone, inside zone, DMZ
Outside
zone,
zone.
all types of zones you create. One of our folk is from security background. He'll know it better, right? So that is one of the disadvantages, that we have to include the component all of the times. The next one is network visibility. Network visibility, we have to go in each and every device and see what is the issue with it when we are troubleshooting. We have to go and check in each and every device, or go and configure in each and every device one after the other. So these are all the drawbacks or limitations of traditional networking. So before moving on to advantages of SDN solutions like Cisco ACI, does anyone have any questions on this? Are we good?
Yes.
Okay, one yes. What about other folks?
All good.
All good, great. Yeah, fine. Okay, great. So now let's understand the benefits of Cisco ACI. Now we have spoken so much about a traditional network. If they're so bad, why do they even exist? They existed because at that time they were the best. 3-4 years ago, we did during COVID, did we know that Chat GPT is coming in and AI will come in and
Even in the
ML will.
legacy Nexus, they also have introduced the VXLAN and not so traffic, right? So how it is legacy Nexus replacing this ACA?
See, to answer your question this way, Nexus, firstly, Nexus is a different device. ACI is a different solution. Device and solution. Nexus can be used as a single device also. ACI cannot be used as a single device. Coming back to your answer, now this device will have all the features that are supported by Cisco ACI. But this device will not be able to do what the ACI would do. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
And who asked this question?
it's Rajesh here.
Yeah, Rajesh. So am I making sense to you, Rajesh?
Yeah.
The reason why, now you'll ask, why all of that is supported in Nexus? Okay, that can be a counter question. So you're not asking me, but I'm asking myself, okay?
Correct.
Because
Yeah, that's
Nexus is part of ACI, that's why. The hardware inside ACI is Nexus and UCS server.
Epic.
Correct. Make sense?
sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And now you will say, now I have a counter question. So you will say, now when it is supporting and it is not doing that, okay, you said it is part of it, that's why it is supporting, but I can at least test, right? You cannot test. Why you cannot test? Because by default, Nexus is running on NXOS. And the OS that is there in ACI is, any guesses, folks?
ACI mode. NXOS to ACI mode.
Yes, NXOS. It is called ACI OS. It is not NXOS. Okay, Rajesh?
Yeah. I got it. Yeah.
Great.
Nexus
Yeah, the
Nexus will support
curiosity I asked.
Azam sir.
Yes, sir.
NXOS will support VXLAN na features.
Yes. Yes, it supports VXLAN.
So we are manually configured the VXLAN like Juniper.
Yes, we can just use NXOS. We can just use Nexus and then configure VXLAN and use in our core.
Okay.
We can do that, and many companies are doing it in their traditional networks.
Okay.
Yes, Rajesh, you were asking something.
No. I got clarified. I just got some curious, so I asked that.
No, you had some related question. Are you okay now?
Yeah. I'm okay with that. I'm okay
Okay,
with that.
fine. Okay. Now starting up with the benefits of Cisco ACI. Okay, so why Cisco ACI? Okay, the first one is network management touch points. So to understand the benefits of Cisco ACI, we have to understand the components of Cisco ACI. There are three components in Cisco ACI. The first component is Epic. Sorry, folks. This Epic controller. The second component is Leaf. The third component is Spine. These are the three components. Okay. Epic controller hardware is UCS. Leaf hardware is Nexus. Spine hardware is Nexus. I don't want to go in the model numbers. If I go into the model numbers after 6 months, you will forget or the models will change. On a high level, you have to understand Leaf and Spine are Nexus. And just for your remembrance, Leaves are high powered Nexus. When I say high powered with higher configuration, these are the bulky devices with lot of modules, the big boxes. Spines are the lower lower models of Nexus with lesser ports. That much you have to remember. And you can go in Google and see which model is being supported on the day that you are buying the Cisco ACI. And all of these three run ACI OS. Any questions on this, folks? There are three components: Epic controller, Leaf Spine. The hardware of those components is Nexus and UCS, and the software of those components is ACI OS. Okay? Any questions on this? It's straightforward. Okay. So now we know the hardware and the software, the functions. Before understanding the functions, we know the hardware, we know the software, and now we should know the cabling. I am a network engineer from the traditional networks. My manager says we are bringing in Cisco ACI and you are going to be the lead. So what will I do? I will go and first learn about ACI. Where would I start? I would start with the hardware. Then I will understand what OS it is running, because this is a complete solution. When I say it is a complete solution, all of them work as a single fabric. we have another term here, fabric. What is a fabric? Fabric is connection of spines and leaves together along with the epic controller. The entire solution is called as a fabric. And from now on, I'll be using the word fabric and not the word solution.
Sir, on what context we are saying fabric?
Fabric in the sense how now in usual terms, now when I say fabric, okay, what comes in your mind? What comes in your mind? Clothing, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. So this, when I first heard fabric, I was like, why the word fabric is used in networking? Now this is something new. Why they want to use like a business word to it? So fabrics are like this, correct? They are stitched together. Everything is connected to everything. Everything is connected to everything. You agree that? If it is not closely knit like
Yes, sir.
this, it will not become a cloth, right?
Yes, sir. So you're saying that every leaf spine, every nodes are interconnected.
Correct. If you see, spine is connected to all the leaves. Spine is connected to all the leaves. Leaves are connected to all the spines. Now you will ask me a counter question. Okay, Azam, you said spines are connected to the leaves are connected to the spines, but the controllers are not connected to all of them. Yes, they're not connected to all of them. There is no need. Why you would ask why there is no need? Because the controllers do not participate in data traffic. What is the data traffic, folks?
Actual data flow.
Sir,
Correct.
our routing.
So the routing would come as a control traffic, control plane. And let's say there is one, I'm using the word EPG, endpoint group. Okay, I'm using the word endpoint group. I'm keeping this word for the next classes. I want you all to enroll for tomorrow's class. I want all you folks to enroll. I'm having a very good time with you folks. I feel that you all want to learn and I want to be part of your journey. So please enroll. So there is one EPG here and there is another EPG here. I will not explain EPG now. I want you all to enroll. I will tell you the full form of it. With that, you will understand what it is. Endpoint group. There is an endpoint group 1 connected on a leaf. Let's say leaf 1, 101. And there's another leaf 107 or 8 or whatever. If these two endpoint groups have to communicate, these endpoint groups contains the endpoints. If they have to communicate at that time, Epic controller is not going to come in between their data traffic. It is not going to come in between their communication. So when I'm explaining all of this, I've also started explaining the functions. Okay, so I guess who asked this question? The fabric question?
Sir, me, Adarsh.
Adarsh. Okay. Are you good, Adarsh?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other question, folks, on whatever I just explained?
Basa, I
Yeah.
have a question.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Is there is any interface between these servers for the failovers?
Okay. When you say servers, you mean to
Control
say the
unit, yes.
Epic controllers, correct?
Yes, yes.
So the next, that would be our next maybe discussion. So if you see for the failover, now there are two types of failovers. As a network engineer, we all have come across this. The first type of failover is, let me use text for you. Types of failures. There are two types. The first one is port failure. The second is device failure. Can any other failure happen apart from these two?
The interface, physical connectivity.
Yeah, it comes under port. Port interface. Anything apart from port or interface and device? Interface or device failure? Anything can happen apart from that? Yes, no, I guess.
Sir, link failure also.
Yeah, that would also come under interface itself. Port and interface both are same. The link is connected to the interface.
The database of the server.
No. Sorry, what was the what was that?
The database of the server. All three servers will have the data
Okay.
content.
Okay, database server would include the device failure, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, for you folks, there are only two types of failures: interface failure and device failure. No matter how much you categorize, at the end of the day, you would only see either a single point failure or an entire device failure. For a single point failure, you are connecting one epic to multiple leaves. For the entire device failure, you are having additional epics. So this is the failover solution. Okay, are we good? And again, I missed who
Yes,
asked this question about the failure?
yes, it's clear.
Kamraj. So it's the first day, right, folks? So once I understand your voice, then I'll not be asking your question, like asking your names. Any other question, Kamraj?
It's clear, it's clear. And one thing I want to ask again,
Yeah.
in this architect, I may not know what is behind. In this, in actual scenario, in this architect, there is no any connectivity between Epic server. How it will sense the failovers which is connected to the leaf areas.
The epics are connected to the leaf.
Yes. In case
And
the controller one goes down,
mhm,
how the controller two will sense to act.
okay. So for this, you have to join a class. Kamraj, have you enrolled?
Yes.
Okay, fine. So we have this topic of failover. So I'll discuss more on that at that time. So just to summarize your question, to just answer you, Kamraj. So what happens is the epics and leaves they communicate with each other on a regular timers. You can call those timers as hello packets. So the epics will be communicating with the leaves continuously. If one goes down, the other will be communicating. If this goes down, the other will be communicating.
Here VPC will be there.
VPC is not between the epics. The VPC is between the leaves. VPC is a different concept. Now we are talking about failover only. So what happens, Kamraj? So leaves will be continuously communicating with the epic.